Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thursday Night Football is just ahead. You are here for the countdown. I am here to answer any questions you might have because if you can't tell, I'm excited to watch this game. I hope you are too. More importantly, this should be a fun one. It's not what we normally get for a Thursday. We got pretty lucky last week with another good game, so I'm hoping that just continues. It could be a continual streak. We're just gonna answer any questions we get as it comes in. Please like and subscribe because we really appreciate you all answering all of your questions. If you can, let me know what you have tonight. Big surprise: Aaron Jones is playing, which not quite ready for. Very curious to see how this ends up affecting the game. It's not something I was ready for. I don't think a lot of other people were either. So just how it works out. Hey, and Tamara made it. How's it going, Tamara? Let's see. Ooh, Hubbard or Jordan Mason? That's a good one. I think you're, again, I know that Jones is back, but I still think I'm going to end up playing Mason tonight just because I still think he's more likely to score than Hubbard. While I do think that game is going to be a good game, it's just so risky to try and do that. Much rather just go with what I know. So, makes it pretty easy. Trying to think if there's anything else. If you have players going tonight, please make sure they are actually in positional spots and not in your flex. So that way you can be flexible, the whole point of the word. So that includes your wide receivers, your running backs. Make sure they are in a wide receiver or running back and not in your flex. Just going to be how it's going to go. I'm expecting this. They have it as a 3 point. They moved to 3, so it went from 4.5 to 3.5 to 3. Chargers still have the money line going towards them. The over/under is 44.5. What's up, AW? 3-parter. Okay. So you're starting 2 quarterbacks: Rattler, Penix, Taylor, or Mac Jones. Well, it is very curious to see how it ends up breaking down, but as of right now, it's going to be Jones and Penix. However, if Purdy does end up playing, that will get you into trouble. Penix would be the one I would go to for sure. I'm not quite I guess that you're just asking for one quarterback there, actually. So Penix would be my quarterback. Start 2, Dobbs, Waddle, Worthy. I'm going to sit Worthy there. Waddle and Dobbs have actually been playing, I'm going to do air quotes, consistently. So keep that in mind. So we'll see how that ends, if they can keep that going. Otherwise, you'll end up being upset that you didn't start Worthy. That game is going to be very interesting. There's too many question marks that are just surrounding it. So, and then let's see. Start 1, JCM, Pacheco, Chase Brown, PPR. In PPR, I'm going to go Chase Brown. So hopefully that helps set your lineup. I'll be back on Sunday. Daniel, how's it going? Okay, so pick 2, PPR. Okay, Mason, Dowdle, Pollard, JCM, and Henderson. You're definitely not playing Henderson. You're probably not playing Pollard. This is where it gets interesting. PPR, I'm playing Dowdle no matter what. Then it gets into how much do you think Mason or Jones is playing tonight. I haven't heard any news of him being on a snap count or anything. That should be popping up like right now if there is one. But if he is on snap count, that definitely helps. Because that means Mason's more likely to score. I still think I'm going to go Mason just because of the fact that this is probably going to be a higher scoring game than the Washington game. Chiefs have a pretty good defense. They are getting healthy. So now it's time to be in panic mode. Yeah, I'm not getting any. But, all right. Hopefully that helps, Daniel. Glitchy. How's it going? Playing Allen and Addison for sure. Yeah, I would be yes. Based on how they've been playing in the past, it's very hard to sit them, and this is another game that kind of lines up for them to, again, see double-digit targets. Well, Addison might not, but Allen definitely should or has been in the past. So if trends remain the same, you will be playing Allen and Addison. Wanderdale or Flowers? It's a hard choice. Yeah. Let me double-check the matchup. I'm pretty sure... who do I have here? Baltimore. Yeah, I still think because there's not a whole really anybody on the Ravens injury report right now, I'm probably going to go Wandale, because I think that means that the Bears are going to be more under siege than they're expecting. So makes me nervous. Don't like it. All right, Michael. Start two. Kamara, Jones, Marks, Pacheco. It's PPR, so you're definitely playing Kamara. Then it because I was really hoping we'd have something on Jones. Trying to see if they have any news about it. Don't see any footballs coming through. So because there's no news on that, I will actually go Pacheco or Jones because it's PPR. Those are the two pass catchers. The next one up would be Pacheco. I think it gives you another safe play, but you're definitely playing Kamara and you're definitely playing. Then it's a toss up between Jones and Pacheco for me because of PPR usage. I'd lean Jones just because I expect this game to be higher scoring than the other games. So, and then Marks or McLaurin rest of the season. I'm very curious to see how Daniels looks, but if Daniels is back and being healthy, and then McLaurin and Debo are still there, I still think I'd rather go McLaurin just because it's PPR. It would really be dependent on your lineup and where you kind of need the depth. Because honestly, I think you could actually get a pretty good trade offer depending on who you're potentially sending off. So, yeah, Vinny, it really looks like Jones is going to have a full allotment. Like I said, I'm not seeing anything. I'm going to hop on get on my sources, see if there's any other news, but I have not seen them even putting him on a snap count, which makes me really believe that if he's a full go, you're going to want to play him. He's very consistent, and the Chargers' defense against the run has been continued to be beat up. So until that changes, you're going to want to roll with Jones best you can. Let's see. Where do I have search? If I can type. All latest. Aaron Jones. Oh, of course, everybody's questions are there. Let's go media. Yeah, it really. I'm not seeing anything about him being on any kind of snap count or anything. So it really looks like you want that upside, and it's very difficult to sit him because of that. I just really not seeing anything else. Michael, okay, that's going to be interesting. If Kincaid is healthy, I'd much rather play Kincaid because I think that's a game he should be dominated. It really sets him up for a solid game. However, because, let me see, I don't think reports even have him on there either, actually, now that I think about it. But he had been injured going into the bye. So the latest one for them has him as a limited practice yesterday, which you don't like to see. So if he gets a full practice in and they have him as full go, I'd play Kincaid. Otherwise, it's going to be Fannin. This is definitely more of a Sunday question because, again, we're not sure how that all ends up breaking down. But, yeah, man, I'm just really not seeing any kind of quotes or anything about him not being on a snap count. So I think Aaron Jones is going to be starting for you. So, yeah, they believe in him. They think he's going to be ready. So you're going to be rolling out Aaron Jones more than likely. The question I have been getting a lot of, though, is Gadsden. And that will be very dependent on who your other options are and what the scoring format is. If you are looking for a touchdown, I think Gadsden might be a safe play. I currently have him as a tight end, I think 13, just because I think there's a couple of other players currently that are going to see a lot more targets, and I think that really benefits him. And I like May over Baker, yes, mostly because I'm just so nervous that they're going to run, and the lack of health coming out of the Buccaneers camp right now is rough. I wish the Patriots had an easier matchup because it does make me extremely nervous, but definitely just difficult to tell. So, I still think I trust May based on how he's been playing recently to be just fine this week, though. All right, Daniel, have Mason in the flex. I make a drop. Ridley and IR messed up my roster again. So drop Ridley, JCM, Hendo, Tucker, Pollard, or I could drop Seattle defense. Of those options, I'm probably going to drop. I mean, I'm okay dropping Ridley or Tucker if you're specifically holding Seattle for something. I mean, it's tough to drop them because they've been playing so well. So, yeah. So if you don't want to, I'm fine. Like I said, I'm fine dropping Tucker or Ridley. The fact that Bowers and Bowers and Myers are both practicing, kind of makes Tucker not something you really need to hold on to. So makes it a lot easier for you for sure. All right. Well, not seeing any other questions. Guys have time. I'm going to sit around. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. More than likely, if you're already here, you've done that. And if you haven't already, you need to make sure you're on the Discord. We are still doing roster resolutions. We will do that until I think it is week 12. So you have 4 weeks if you include this week. 8, 9, 10, 11. Nope. Yep. 5 weeks. 5 weeks is if you include this week. 4 weeks after this week to get those in. And it's only $10. Makes it really easy. So, all right. Anything else? I'm trying to think if there's any big news that kind of surprised me. Limited practice for Njoku. Upset that good old Judy dealing with injury. Didn't practice. Is there anybody else? The AJ Brown thing's interesting. So if AJ Brown is out, Goddard gets a boost, and Smith goes way up as well because they will need to throw. So it's very interesting to see how that's going to end up working out. Outside of that, I'm trying to think. So I'm going to keep this up because it is a general. Sorry, not this one. Where'd it go? This up because May is very interesting. A lot of people are going to be off of him because the Browns have been so good against the quarterback. Patriots are favored by 7 points. What's really, I think, going to boost May up is the fact that he's going to have to throw touchdowns. And they have him as a 40-point over-under with them winning by at least a touchdown. Yes, I would play him over Mooney and Hollywood. If you are picking two of that, I'd go McLaurin and Hollywood. What's up, Farley? Let's see. Johnson or Pittman? Pittman. Not even close. So one of the stat breakdowns that I was looking at was under pressure. Justin Herbert has been targeting Allen the most at like 25%, McConkey at 20%, and for QJ, because the play isn't allowed to develop, it's been all the way down to 16%. So while the first weeks when he was being protected, there's a lot more time. I'm very, very curious to see how having Alt back really helps this team. I'm hoping it's enough, but I just don't think it buys Herbert enough time to really allow the play to develop for Johnston to have a big game. So I'm still going to go Pittman, which does make me a little nervous because I do expect Downs to potentially play after getting out of the non-contact. He's already out of it. So he's had another limited practice today. Makes it very interesting. That's definitely something to watch. Calvin Ridley not practicing. Tony Pollard not practicing. Don't like any of that. Good news, if you like Christian Watson, he had a limited practice again, so that's going to be interesting. It will be making that room even messier, and I think will actually end up really hurting Golden the most. Dobbs, of course, won't be affected, really, except for you probably won't see as many targets. You're welcome. Happy to help. Here Sunday, too, so if you have more questions, make sure you come back then. Makes it easy. Yeah, the full practices for Debo and McLaurin make that Chiefs game a lot more interesting. That 12.5 point line, I bet you, is going to shrink significantly after that news, even with Mariota under center. And we kind of touched on it yesterday, but the Cowboys-Broncos game, I do expect Dak to be just fine, but he will need to throw touchdowns, which I think actually hurts Williams the most. Javonte Williams is got a little bit of a knockdown due to that. So, all right. Anything else? If you're looking for a streamer, and because I'm trying to think, you don't have, let's see, you don't have Amon-Ra, you don't have Puka or Adams, you don't have MHJ, you don't have JSN, you don't have, well, you probably weren't starting BTJ or Travis Hunter. But if you were looking for somebody, I do like Tez this week, Tez Johnson, with it being that so many of the Bucks players on offense are out. I do expect him to see a pretty good amount of targets. So if you're looking for a streamer late because one of the people you thought were going to play isn't playing, that would probably be a pretty good plug and play for you. So, okay. Anything else? Is there anything else you guys have any questions on? I felt like we covered a lot of stuff on yesterday's show. It was a shorter show for sure. Tight ends galore this week, you guys. We talked about it a lot, but really like Otten. Again, talked about the depletion of that offensive player pass catchers for the Buccaneers. Makes Otten very high up. I currently have him as my tight end 4. Of course, the other guys are less widely available. Like I said, Gaston's right up there, but less appealing. Ooh, Tamara, that's a good one. I still think just because I want to see McLaurin actually healthy, like I want to see him play again, and with Debo there, it's going to be very interesting. So I still think I'm going to play it safe and play Addison today. Just again, Addison continues to shine. It's super impressive how well he's been playing overall. It makes it very difficult for me to not play him. But I will make sure that I will have notes for next Wednesday's show. So this one. Okay. To make sure that we talk about how that breakdown works for the Commanders, because that's going to be very interesting. Yeah, it's fair because we weren't sure. So Waddle or McLaurin. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of who the Dolphins are playing. The Falcons. If it's PPR, I still think I go Waddle. While I do think there's a lot more upside for McLaurin, I'm not sure. I'm very curious because Mariota has played some with Debo. He hasn't played as much with McLaurin. And I'm pretty sure they've already said that, Jaden Daniels is out. So with that, it makes it difficult for me to place somebody I haven't seen with him. I do believe Mariota will be fine. It's a decent streamer. I think I have him as my quarterback 18 or 19. So in Superflex, he's viable. I'm using him, for example, this week. Now that he has his weapons back, which saves me because I was going to have to play Gabriel, and that was going to be ugly. I was not looking forward to doing that, but makes it easier having weapons for sure. Doctor Who, love it. Great picture too. So I kind of touched on it earlier, but I'm not nervous about A. Jones. Aaron Jones, based on everything I've seen, says he's going to have a full workload. The coaches have full trust in him. It's not somebody you have to ease in. So I think they've waited until he's fully healthy and are just going to launch him out of a cannon. So I'm definitely very curious to see how that works out. I also, unfortunately for the Saints, in Kamara, while I do think Kamara will be fine because it is PPR, I just don't think that game is going to be as high scoring as potentially this game could be. Both teams don't have defenses, really, at least not secondaries. So it'll be very interesting to see how that ends up breaking down. Hammer, you're killing me. You know I love Wandale. I still... It's more dart that it makes it interesting. I still think I'm going to go... I have to go Wandale there. Of the two, I'm going to go Wandale, and then Wandale over McLaurin as well. So, Pedro, welcome in. J.K. Dobbins or Keenan Allen, half PPR. Oh, the half hurts. Because full, it's definitely Allen. It puts it close. Because it's half, I think it goes to Dobbins just barely. But I don't think you go wrong this week. I think both have pretty solid games. Mostly, like we said, the Cowboys don't really have a defense that you're nervous about. So, could see Dobbins scoring. I hate the split, but it's still happening. Makes it iffy. Brandon, QJ, or Wandale Robinson, or Drake, London. Pick 2. At that point, I'm going to go Robinson and London. Don't get me wrong. I like Quentin Johnson as much as the other guy. But until they have an offensive line and they have time for the play to develop, I can't bring myself to play him. It's just not going to work for me, unfortunately. So I'd much rather play QJ or Robinson in London, even though I think that's actually a really big Bijan game. It's part of the reason I'm having as my RB1. And, he actually, if I had a super flex, he might actually go over my second quarterback. That's how high I have Bijan. So, of course, it's very close. I don't think you're going to go wrong this week. I think both are really awesome players. I would, however, whoever you decide to go with of those two, put them in a positional spot so you have more flexibility come Sunday. If you do need to take a moonshot, make sure that person's in an actual position, wide receiver or running back. So, all right. Well, guys haven't already, like and subscribe, of course. Have all these shows. Tomorrow we have the betting show back, and then I'll be back Sunday answering all of your questions yet again to get you ready for Week 8, the main slate. So excited. I know. It's not really QJ even. It's coming down to the fact that they need the play to develop. I was talking about the stats earlier, but when Herbert is under pressure, he's looking at Allen first, then McConkey. It would probably actually say, if you group the tight ends, that would be the next section right below Allen. It'd go Allen, tight ends, McConkey, and then QJ. And QJ's at 16% of those targets. So he's looking for them the least, with good old Allen being at almost 25%. So that's really what it comes down to. I like that Alt's back, but I have to see that he stays up, and hopefully they continue to get that O-line healthy, because they're going to need it. This is a game that they have the opportunity to win. I mean, they're favored, which always makes me nervous. If they are up at the half, I'm going to bet against them, because more than likely the Vikings are going to come back and cover at the very least. It's usually how that goes. And wouldn't be surprised if they actually win. I might even go money line, depending on if they get up big. I really am doubtful on the Chargers right now. As a fan, clearly, it's just how they're playing. I would not be surprised, if it's the other way. Even if the Vikings get and put the Chargers in a hole, wouldn't be surprised. Still a lot of opportunity. The upside's definitely going to be there. I would still take a bet that says that the Chargers end up covering whatever the spread gets to. I'm going to guess at the max, Vikings will end up being -6 at some point. So, all right, Grossman. Let's see. Deebo Samuel, Wandale, or no, Waddle? Wandale. Okay, it's Wandale. And London, pick 2. There, I'm going to go Samuel and Wandale. That game is set up for Bijan, while London is fine. The issue for London is now that Mooney's back. They kind of split targets, and in a game that I don't think they have to throw a lot, I don't think they're going to want to. So I also have Algier will likely score a touchdown. When he's at home, he almost always scores a touchdown. So Brian G, Jordan Mason, Chase Brown, Kittle, which 2 this week? I'm playing Kittle for sure. It's tight end week, so Kittle is my number 1. Doesn't really matter who it's against. And then I'm going to go If it's PPR, I'm going Chase Brown. If it's standard, I'm going Mason. Since you didn't give me a scoring format, Brian. So really depends on what it is. And if it's any kind of PPR, I'm going to go Chase Brown. Mason won't see those targets now with Aaron Jones back. And you're really hoping for Mason to score, which with as bad as the Chargers defense looked the past couple weeks, wouldn't be surprised that he scores. Okay, well, standard. Ooh, also have Ferguson. Tempted. I am tempted, but I'm not going to do it. I still have Kittle higher just because, again, he didn't see any work last week. He made a comment in the press conference about letting down his fantasy managers. And so I think this week they'll probably feed him a little more, especially with how much work he ended up doing for him last week with his just solid blocking all around. So going to go Kittle, and probably, since it's standard, I'm going to go Mason. All right. Well, that's all the questions you guys got. I'm going to get out of here. Go watch the game. I'm going to go watch the game. Hope you all have a lovely start to Week 8. I will be back here Sunday. If you are degenerate and you want to get betting advice, hit up Friday at 8, 7 Central. And otherwise, remember, as always, to keep up the nonsense. I'll see y'all Sunday.